Hi guys, welcome back to We Dive Deeper, episode 7. I hope you all like the episode of my dad. It's been getting such a cool response. A lot of people shocked at how chilled and I don't know, I still haven't found the word for my dad yet, but lots of positive feedback, so thank you. Today my guest is Orla Gartland. I've known Orla now probably for about 10 years, I think. Back when I was a solo artist, she came to my Dublin show. We were fans of each other from the YouTube days, back when covers in your bathroom were a cool thing. It's still cool, right? We did some writing together and we've just been kind of supporting each other ever since, going to each other's gigs every now and again, and it was so cool to catch up with her today. I am sure you know who Orla Gartland is, but if you don't, go and check her out. Such cool pop music. She's really found her sound now, and you can tell she's so comfortable with who she is and what she's making, and it's just a pleasure to witness. I'd just like to say thank you so much to everyone who's sharing the podcast, who's tweeting me about it, who's DMing me on Instagram. It means so much, and I'm so grateful because this is such a joy to do and I'm having the best time. So thank you for listening. And if you do feel like leaving a review or a rating or just leaving me a comment on Instagram, please feel free, because I'd love to hear your opinions and feedback. And also don't forget, you can support the podcast and me on Patreon, patreon.com/Kate McGill. You get the episodes earlier, and I'm figuring out how to give you guys more on there. So any feedback, let me know and I'll take it on. But I won't waste any more of your time. Here is my chat with Orla Gartland. Hello.
Hello.
Is this strange?
No.
Are you nervous?
No.
Okay, this is a good start.
Are you?
I am.
You're meant to be the one putting me at ease.
I know, I'm meant to be confident of doing this, but alas, I am shitting thyself. Okay, so my first question, I'm not going to go straight in with the 70 just because I have one.
Can I ask about the 70? Because I've
of
listened
course.
to the podcast.
What would you like
where
to
have
know?
Where have you got these questions from?
So I've kind of handpicked them from lots of different places.
Okay.
Question cards that I have myself, some online, some that I thought up,
But
some
you've
that I've been
curated the
asked.
list. Cool.
Yeah. Is it cool or is it really weird?
No, it's great.
Okay.
What I thought it was when I first listened was like a prescribed list that you'd found somewhere, because there's like a couple of those on the internet. There's one that's like 25 questions to make you fall in love with someone.
Yeah,
you
no,
know, like
I've
those
seen
kind
that.
of things. I
Yeah.
thought you'd got them from somewhere, but no, you've made the list. That's
Yeah, no, I've curated it like a playlist. Okay, so your EP comes out on May the 24th, right? And am I right in reading somewhere that you said you're a people pleaser?
Yeah, relentlessly so.
Me too. But why do you think that is? Because I'm so intensely a people pleaser and I'm forever trying to think where that came from.
Are you familiar with, I'm not usually into things like this, but I do find it quite interesting, the Enneagram types? Is that
Is that
you
the
know?
like the INTP, that personality?
Not that, there's just 9 types.
Okay.
I'm not into horoscopes or like a lot of this kind of stuff, but I do find this particular one quite interesting. And there's 9 personality types that each have titles that I'm not familiar with all of them, but you answer a bunch of questions. I'll make you do it after, just because I think it's really interesting. And I am, of the 9, I am type 9, which is something called a peacemaker.
Okay, oh my god, I can guarantee already that I'm the same
Or
one.
the peacekeeper, and it's just when I read that type, I identify with it so much. And it's basically, yeah, they're not like really specific. It doesn't claim to like tell you the future, or it doesn't go into that much detail, but it does give you like just a really interesting kind of typecast. And with the 9, it's like, yeah, I hate conflict. That is like true. I just like want everyone to be okay all the time. I'm like very wary of like, is everyone else enjoying themselves? Like I always put everyone else's needs before my own, to my own detriment, which I think is kind of being a people pleaser. So I'll make you do this like questionnaire thing. I don't know, you just get them online, but it's really interesting.
Were you like that in childhood?
I think I've always been like that, yeah.
Really?
I think it's always showed itself in different ways. Like I was way more attention seeking when I was younger. I remember like I was very like class clowny, like wanting everyone to think I was funny. I think I'm less like that now. Well, I'm still attention seeking in a way, but like, yeah, I think I've always been like that.
I wouldn't say you're attention seeking. Would you?
It doesn't have to be the bad side of attention seeking, but I do like put myself on stage, like, and like broadcast myself on the internet, and like, I mean, that's like very, like, that's, you know that,
Yeah.
and like, and you do that, and we know lots of people that do that, so it seems normal, but it's not really, is it?
True, although having been on this tour recently, I have realised how much I just don't like it.
Like what? Being
like
on stage?
being on stage, and in fact, even I just find it all so uncomfortable now. I think there was a period of life, obviously, when I got into music, and I guess everyone kind of, there's a thought when you first start making music, like, yeah, I love music, I love songwriting, but it would also be really cool to be famous and be known and all that bollocks. But now, oh my God, it's so uncomfortable. I really couldn't enjoy it, because even afterwards, meeting people, it's so cool to meet the people that listen to your music and have those connections. But because you are this person that they've come to see, there's automatically this like power shift that just feels horrible and uncomfortable. And I wish I didn't feel like that, but I think maybe over time I've realised, my God, I do not want that attention anymore. But I very much did, and I don't know where that changed.
I think the fact that you're just even aware of that is good and is enough. Because what side of it makes you most uncomfortable? Because there's a difference between being on stage in the moment, performing in front of people, mic in front of your face, here's my songs, here's my message, whatever, and then the like meet and greet, like idolizing. To me, that's like two separate things. I feel far more comfortable with like performing than I do with the like social aspect of being someone that someone's paid to see.
Yeah. I think I agree with you there. I definitely feel more comfortable on stage, but only like slightly more. I think probably that has a lot to do with weight, I think, and like just appearance wise, because that just can't be avoided in this kind of industry, can it? Or the least you thinking about it. But yeah, it's just drastically changed over maybe the last year or two. Even being on stage now doesn't feel that great anymore, and that's a scary thing to say, because obviously.
No, but I think it's important to like admit it as well, because there's this almost I think it's a bit of a myth almost that once you break through the nerves, once you've like performed enough, that it's comfortable, that it's fun from that point, like once you get through, and I think that point can take years to get to anyway, but actually I found that like my enjoyment of being on stage like always directly correlates to like my self-esteem, or like how well something in some other irrelevant aspect of my life is doing. Like I feel more or less comfortable in that environment.
Wow.
It's not that once you get past the nerves and once you get past the stage fright and that it's just fun from that point. Like I've found like I've enjoyed it and not enjoyed it as much at completely different points in my life.
Wow.
Like the way you have now. But you've always been quite nervous.
Yes.
Well, like, well, maybe not always, but like I remember seeing you first in Dublin when I was like bought a ticket to come see you.
How weird is that?
I love it. And we have to talk about that at some point, like our weird interwoven past. But it was like Ireland does this really annoying thing that they still do, the promotion companies, where you can't have a 14 plus or an all ages evening show. You have to have
I remember that.
an 18. All the evening shows have to, or any venue with a bar, which is every venue. You have to do an 18 plus evening gig, or like a weird. If you want to have an all ages show, it has to be like a weird Saturday matinee.
I remember doing that.
2 p.m. doors thing, and I remember you being, I mean, that is a nerve-wracking situation anyway, like 2 p.m. doors is so weird, and it was a solo tour. I think you were on your own. Was Tom playing with you or someone? I think you were completely on your own.
Oh God, yeah.
But I remember you be like, just seeing you before, I wouldn't have known it on stage, but I remember you were just like
nerves. I think as well that's why I found this tour not as enjoyable, is because this whole.
Where did you play?
We played in Brighton, Bristol, London, and Birmingham. But because I've spent the last kind of half a year, because it's been such a crazy time in life anyway, I've had to really, I guess, like learn what actually makes me happy now. And I realized that I'm quite an introvert, and I like being at home and like reading and meditating, and I don't know, I've shifted so much as a human being. And so now, like being on the road and feeling that like anxiety all the time, I was like, this doesn't feel good. And beforehand, the nerves was part and parcel of all this, like the passion and stuff that I wanted to do. But now I'm sitting there nervous, and I'm drinking alcohol because I'm nervous, and I'm like, this isn't good for me anymore. And don't get me wrong, there are bits that are so enjoyable, but on the whole, when I'm just focusing on me and my brain and like my body and how it's feeling, I'm like, shit, this it's scary how much I was aware of how anxious I was. And also at that level of touring, like it's the slog level. Like you don't have money for the crew, and there's so much gear, and you're lifting it up and down stairs, and it's like it's tiring as well as feeling all the other stuff. And I think I was kind of plucked out of my little comfort zone at home where I could be myself and focus on myself and what made me happy, to then being in that environment again. I was like, oh, holy shit, this is different now.
That's good to know. I think that's just you becoming more comfortable with yourself and knowing yourself more. And I think, I don't know if you felt this way, but like when I speak to someone who maybe isn't in a music or any creative industry, I think there's a pressure sometimes when you're like living the dream to like a forced kind of gratefulness all the time. You know, like you're kind of like, oh, touring is really difficult, but you know, so glad to be doing it. You're like, and there's always this like, don't want to appear like I'm not like really grateful for all the luck that I've had. And actually, I don't know, being a musician in particular is like there's so many different pockets of skills, so many different experiences, and you can enjoy one without enjoying the other. You can enjoy writing and recording without enjoying gigging, and you can be good at one and not the other. And actually that's fine. It just so happens that we exist at a time where you're expected to do it all and be your own PR person. And look at me, here I am on a podcast with gay. You know, it's like that's all just like different skills. But I think it's really cool and refreshing to hear someone be like, I don't enjoy that aspect of it, because it doesn't make you any less good at the other bits. Like, you know who Enya is?
Yeah.
Enya never gigged. She existed at a time where you could just be a recording artist.
Wow.
That's just not a thing anymore. Like, we have to gig. It's just how it goes. It's expected. But like, if we exist at a different time of music, you would do gigs only if you wanted to.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know, I think it's good to recognize what you don't like.
Are there bits that you don't like, that you kind of struggle with in the industry in your career? Or do you just love it all?
I just love all of it.
I fucking love
God,
it all.
how annoying would that be? I really like gigging now, but I feel like it took me so long to get there. Like literally maybe only in the last year have I actually really enjoyed it.
Why
like
is
I
that?
genuinely do feel I do, but I don't think it's been that way. I just don't think I was proud of like my live show. Like I felt I was like mugging people off for a long time. Like, and I felt like they were buying a ticket to take a chance on something that I wasn't that certain about yet, because I just wasn't happy with like my like level of performance, or like I still had to figure the band thing out, or like there was still so many songs I had to write to make the set list feel complete, or like there always seemed to be something missing. And so for me, I up until like maybe the last like, I played a couple headline shows last May after like a long time of not, and from that point I think I felt comfortable with like the idea of people paying to see me, but up to that point I don't think I was.
And I mean, you're doing so well now, objectively. Like, that's how cool it is to be your friend. Is that sounds so weird, but to have been there with you from our kind of like tiny little YouTube days and the Dublin matinee and stuff, it's very, very cool to see how fucking far you've come. And even just like your Spotify and like the artwork and shit, and the music speaks for itself, but it's just so good, and I feel like you've really found your fucking style now.
Oh, thanks.
And it's just fucking cool to watch.
How sick. Yeah, I feel like comfortable with it now, but like, you know, in the interest of being honest, which is the whole point of this thing, like I did push through like so many years where I didn't feel that good about it. And in the same way, there's like not just a simple like uphill thing. Like I do feel comfortable with it now. I'm like proud of the music, proud of the show, but like I'm very open to the fact that like that will meander again, and I'll go into some kind of like pits of not being able to write something for it. You know, it's like I'm grateful for where I'm at only because I've definitely had years and years of not feeling comfortable with it, and lots of near misses, and lots of maybe let's quit, and lots of that.
Yeah. There is a hell of a lot of that. Do you struggle with comparison too?
Oh yeah, of course.
Because I mean, you're surrounded by people that do it all the time.
100%, yeah. And it's funny because people always say it's very easy to be like, even if I try not to compare myself to people, other people will. Like, it's not about yourself. It's not about me going, oh, I live with Lauren, I better not compare myself to Lauren. Oh, I better not compare myself to Kate, better not compare myself to Dodie. Even if I can like be comfortable in that in myself. And I think I've made like some progress in not like trying not to do it, but other people will always do that. Like,
yeah, so that's a hard pill to swallow, isn't it?
Yeah, so even if you get to a point where you're not like directly comparing yourself, like,
you know it's happening.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And that's just how everything works. That's how YouTube will link us together in some algorithm, and like Spotify will all be in like fans also like. So like, there's lots of like, I think even if you make really good like personal progress with it, there's that's still true, like you can't get away from it.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that.
But we are grouped, like whether we like it or not.
I hadn't thought about that. That's so true. The Spotify, like, yeah, that's very true. And as well, I mean, what are your opinions about being a woman in this industry? Because I mean, it's no fucking, what's the word I'm looking for?
Picnic. Is that right?
It's definitely not a picnic. But like I've put on maybe like 2 stone in the last 4 or 5 years, and that has undoubtedly had an impact on my self-esteem and confidence. But also, it has made me think twice about like every time there's a photo shoot or a music video, I'm crippled with like, oh my fucking god, like I look at the Nina Nesbitts of the world, and basically everyone in this circle is essentially a size 8, and I'm like, fuck me. And I remember our old manager telling me, he was like, my daughter, and it was a compliment, don't get me wrong, but she was like, my daughter thinks is that you're kind of a great role model for you know, like curvier women type thing in the industry. And that was really meant as a compliment. And
oh god.
But obviously when you're in that world, you're like, okay, so I'm the fat one. But it's not like that, but that's how my brain perceives it. So I think that and as I'm doing it, I'm squelching my fat.
Oh my god.
Do you get that too?
Yeah, I get it a lot. I feel it feels so sad that that's a thing.
I know.
But it I think personally, the only people that think about those things are people that work in music. And I mean this also with age, which I think about a lot as well.
Yeah.
With the kind of, well, I think the more and more you delve into like the world of pop specifically, that side of music, and you have all these like super young like Billie Eilish people who are like 10. And I'm like 24, and I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm 48 in pop star years. It's like, it's so silly. But also I have to remind myself that like I don't think regular people that listen to music, like even me, even being in music and knowing what I know of the industry, I'd never hear someone like on a playlist out of context then do a bit of research in them to be like, wow, they're older than I thought.
Yeah.
I like that less. Or like, oh, they look like that, I like it less. Like, I think our brains are wired that way because we've heard manager types, A&R types like spout out this tripe, which is so damaging. But I just try and assure myself that I don't think actual people care about that kind of thing.
It seems like you've got a really good head on your shoulders.
God,
it does, but I guess it's taken years and years and years of this same old shit coming up for you to
well, maybe that's not to say that I feel like, you know, absolute like, you know, indestructible, but yeah, I'm lucky to like know people like Lauren and you and people I can like talk to about these things, and once you say it out loud, it feels all like a bit more silly. It's not like I don't want to like invalidate it or you feeling that way, because like it is shit, and it is something that people need to talk about. But it is also
silly, really, when like you say, when you say it out loud, you're like, this is so a non-thing.
Yeah.
And it's cliche as hell, but it's the people that you connect with and relate to and meet. Like, who was I talking to the other day? You know, Aqualung?
Yeah.
He had that Strange and Beautiful song. I met him for coffee in Bath. name drop. It's not really a name drop.
And he was so funny. He produced the Leanne La Havas album, right?
Yeah.
This is so funny. So I really want to meet this guy.
Oh, really?
Because I'm so obsessed with that album.
Yeah, he's so cool and weird and wonderful. But I was talking to him about writing together. But by the end of it, we'd spoken so much about life and each other's past and stuff that he was like, it's really not about like the music. It's never about the music. It's always about the bits in between, like us meeting for a coffee and having this chat. This is the stuff that we're going to remember. It's not about all the other stuff. And I've just really found that to be true, especially with social media and everything being so fickle and gross and horrible. It's always about these type of things that make everything special. It's never about the weight and the glamour of it.
Yeah.
It's just the conversations, the connections, and I don't really know where I was going with that, but I guess you're right.
I get you. I mean, you're kind of answering your own question in a good way, but like I think that's it. It's like I definitely, as much as anyone, if I'm doing like a video or a photo thing or a gig or like having just a day where I don't feel very good about how I look, like I'll definitely like just talk myself into a hole and be like, oh my god, this is the worst. Like, why am I like choosing to exist in a appearance-based industry? Like, why am I doing this to myself? But then, like you said, you just have to try to distill what you're doing to something like actually meaningful.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird, but but also I also don't think it's silly to have those worries, because I think they're like, the kind of people I've heard like, you know, I don't know, talk shit about someone's age or weight or how they look. It's like they're always people that work in music, so it's very like it's hard to get away from it.
It does seem that way. Okay, let's pick an actual question. 1 to 70. Have fun.
Okay, 32.
Okay, have we had a 32 yet?
What happens if you get a question that someone else has already?
Oh, just who cares? Different people. What did you last do for someone you really love?
God, that's a good question.
Because you've recently gone through a breakup like me, right?
Yep. Stake in the heart.
They're really, really fun things to go through.
I know. So when did that happen?
Mine was early February. What about yours?
Last November.
How is it a couple months on?
Still quite stingy. I really wish that I didn't think about it as much as I still do. But I don't think it's helped by the fact that I haven't been home much. I feel like I did a tour in November and then been away since the start of February, so I haven't had much like time in my flat, in my normal life, that is like the same life minus that person.
Right, okay.
So I think in that way it's taken longer to heal. It could make sense when I think about it, but I've been so distracted in a good way that I think it's kind of dragging it out a little bit.
Okay. How have you dealt with it? What are your kind of go-to things that make you feel better and make you heal?
I don't know. Any? I'm still figuring it out. Please give me any advice you have.
Oh God.
But I understand your situation was probably a bit more complicated because you were living.
Yeah,
together.
we were living together.
I wasn't, so.
Okay. I mean, that only makes it complicated for the very first couple of days when you've got to do the move out and.
Yeah, but there's a lot of logistics. You know, you probably had to consider that.
Yeah. That definitely made it difficult. But do you know what? Even for me, as a very sensitive, emotional, and like crazy in that relationship person, that bit wasn't the hardest bit. I think much like everyone, it's detaching yourself from someone that you love, obviously, who you did everything with, and I guess obviously it does depend on who did it and what the circumstances were, but for me I would say just not beating yourself up is the main thing. All the kind of classics that you read are just so true. Not beating yourself up, even if things did go wrong that you did. I guess with like any loss, if you can take anything from it, that's going to be amazing. So I kind of look at the relationship and make sure that I figure out all the things that I really did do wrong and could have been better. And I've realised that I have a wonderful knack for putting people on pedestals and thinking they're the best fucking thing ever. And then in doing that, slowly but gradually I lose myself in the relationship. Wow. Don't do things for myself, and I'd start saying no to kind of meeting up with friends because I'd rather stay in with this person. It happens so gradually, but by the end of it, when that person's taken out of your life, you're like, fucking hell, I've completely lost myself again. So that's a conscious thought, and I've learned that. I now know going into future relationships, that's a pattern that I do. So I guess, the only...
But I think on the contrary, because I think I'm different with relationships. I think I'm like, sometimes to my detriment, I'm almost the opposite of throwing myself in. Like, I'm very, very cautious person to be in a relationship with. I'm not like a fast mover, let's move in together, let's do this. I'm like a very like tiptoey, I've been hurt before, I'm just gonna go in with my eyes closed and please just bear with me and be patient. Wow. Like, that's way more like me, and I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing, but I personally like envy people that can chuck themselves in like so wholly, even though it's like so maybe more painful when it breaks off, if it does. But I also just I think it's such a like pure of heart thing to be able to like jump in to something that wholeheartedly. Like, I want to be more like that almost.
What was the relationship that really fucked you up then? Was there one?
Well, it wasn't even like a proper relationship. I was seeing someone who I just, again, idolized, like pedestal. My God, what a like absolute God's gift to women. I don't know. And yeah, I it was when I first moved to London, so it was like literally like 5 years ago or something.
Right.
And knew him for years, friends with him, was seeing him, and then he was like seeing my friend at the same time, and I didn't know about that, and it was like this awful kind, like the closest thing to like a John Tucker Must Die. Like right. I remember like meeting up with his friend, and I was like, oh, you know, he wasn't the kind of person that you like. He wasn't the kind of person that you started going out with and like told all your friends about, because they would just like talk you right out of that. So when I found out that he was seeing my friend, I went to meet up with her, and we were like sat on her bed, and I was like, oh, I've been seeing for like 2 months, and she was like, that's fucking crazy, because I've been seeing him for 2 months as well. Oh my
God, Orla.
And I was like, woo! I was like, that's crazy. It really was like, I mean, I'm very lucky to have like a relatively drama-free life, but that was like that was like a lot. So I think I just became, like a lot of people who go through things like that, I just you know, had my like hangover of kind of trust issues, and I think that made me just very kind of tentatively go into things.
Do you think that trust issue thing then affected your next relationship?
Oh, 100%. And friendships and like work relationships, things.
At least
like,
that's a conscious thought. At least you're aware of that.
Now I am, but
yeah. Do you make a conscious effort now then going into future things to be like, no, I'm gonna be wholehearted about this, I am gonna trust this?
Yeah, I think I will now.
Right.
I think I will now. Or I want to be. I mean, there's no right or way wrong. Right. No. That's a good sentence. There's no right or wrong way to do anything, but like when I see people who can just like love someone with their like every like cell in them, I just think that's like such a cool thing.
But you clearly have the capacity to do that. You've done it. It's just the person 100%. You did that with was a cunt.
Yeah. That's question mark. Yeah, 100%. No, I definitely have it in me. I'm definitely like a romantic person. I'm definitely like, I'm not like, you know, I hate everyone or anything like that. I think I was hit with that just at a really like formative time, and I think that's all it was. I think if I went through that now, I'd just be like, God, what a dick, you know, just be able to walk away from that. But it got me in like a really vulnerable moment where I'd not lived in London for that long, I'd not known that many people. Like, I look back now and I see why it affected me so much, because it's just like such a like formative time. Man, that just sucks that happened though. Can you remember the last thing you did for someone you love? Yeah, I was trying to think. I think so it's actually Lauren. Yeah. She for those who don't know, which I'm sure is not anyone at all, but Lauren Aquilina, absolutely incredible human / musician. And now my housemate. And now her housemate. Which is a wonderful thing that's happened. And since she has started playing gigs again, I have been away like so much on tours and stuff, so I've missed all of her like comeback headline shows, 2 or 3 of them. So I went to New York to go see her like a couple of weeks ago. Oh my God. Well, it wasn't just for her. It was like more for me than anything. But she was doing a support tour for this amazing artist called Sasha Sloan. Do you know her?
No, I don't.
You'd like her. She's
Okay.
like very cool. And yeah, Lauren was supporting on that run. And yeah, so in a way it wasn't like, you know, this totally selfless thing, I'm gonna go to New York all the way for Lauren. Like, it was for me as well, but that was like, you know, kind of anchored the whole trip. And I just like went over for a week and then I got to see her in New York, which is like very surreal and like very emotional.
Was it?
Yeah, well, Lauren came to see, I play guitar for a girl called Dodie, which is like separate to my artist project, and we played in LA. Like, she plays big theatre, the end of last year, October or something, and Lauren was in LA at the same time. She came, she's gonna kill me for saying this, but at the end she was like so emotional, and I was like, what's wrong? She was like in floods of tears, and during the gig she'd been like, I just can't believe, like, this was our dream, and now I'm in LA and I saw you up there, and I was like, it wasn't even my music, like I wasn't even singing my songs, and she was like, it didn't matter, like you were in this theater in LA, and I just like, it was this weird thing and it all just hit me and we were just doing it, and I was like, wow. And I can remember being like, oh my god, what a sap. And then when I saw her in New York, I had the same thing. I was just like bursting with so much pride, like looking around at all these people who were like so into it, people who didn't know her before because she was supporting, and I was just like, oh, my heart is like so full watching this.
Man, what a beautiful so nice, like friendship to have. Like, how cool is that?
Yeah, she's great.
Friends are the fucking lucky. Best.
I agree.
That's amazing.
And also, like, I don't know, I just like I think that's very common, like after a breakup, to just like really cling on to the friendships that you do have and realize what you can get from each person. But like, what an amazing thing that, like, I don't know, you're not going to break up with a friend, are you? Like, you'll certainly have moments where you like be closer than other times, and like, I'm very lucky now that like, we get to live together, so it's just like we get to spend time together anyway, because you just wake up and you're there. But like, I don't know, that it made, like, yeah, it just, the whole thing's made me appreciate those frienhips a lot more.
I felt the same way even after Mum as well. When you got like a severe like loss of love, everyone else that does love you jump in to fill that quota up, and you're never like lacking love, because everyone's like, right, they need it, jump in. And it's the most amazing thing to see, because even after this breakup, just had like a breakup party the next day. Like, everyone came round, they were there for me like that.
I love that.
I know, bringing like wine and snacks, and I was just like, fuck me, I've got such an amazing support network. So it is often in those really gross times that you realise how amazing your friends and family are.
Do you watch Fleabag?
No. Oh. What is it?
Oh my god.
Why have I never heard of it?
Oh my god, so have you seen Killing Eve?
Oh no, but I've heard of it. Okay. Apparently it's amazing.
Okay, yeah, so it is. There's this writer, actor, amazing woman called Phoebe Waller-Bridge that I'm like so obsessed with, and her series that she is the like protagonist in, and she's also written it, is called Fleabag. It's like a BBC thing on iPlayer or whatever. I really think you would love it. I like don't like ever recommend series for people like barely like watch TV. I don't know, I'm not like into all these series necessarily, but this is like
sorry.
But this is like, I really, really think you'd love this.
Okay, I'm going to write it down.
It's amazing.
Fleabag.
I
mean, what a cool name.
So good. And that's the character's name. She's called Fleabag. And it's like, if you take all the kind of like tragic British self-deprecating nature of something like Bridget Jones, but it's like way more like gritty and real, and the characters, like, it's like so funny, but it's also like so tragic. Anyway, one of the things that happens is Fleabag is maybe in her 30s, and she's got a best friend called Boo.
Fleabag and Boo.
Amazing. And the character's, Fleabag's mum passes away, and they show the funeral. This isn't really a spoiler, but you find out pretty soon in it. And it's just, it breaks my heart. She has this conversation with her friend where they're like just having like a glass of wine after the funeral, and she turns to her friend Boo, and she's just like, I just have so much love now, and I just like don't know where to put it. And I was like, and then this best friend was just like, give it to me. And she's like, so like means it in the most like, and she's like, just give it to me. And then they're kind of like laughing about it, and she's like, no, I could really use it. Like, please give it to me. Like, it sounds wonderful what you have. Like, just give it to me.
Wow.
And then they just like go on and be best friends.
Got goosebumps.
So it's really good. You'd love it.
Yeah, okay, I'm going to watch that.
I've just got to the end of it. I'm like very sad.
Really?
So,
I hate when a fucking series ends.
It's amazing.
Okay, give me another number.
56.
Okay, hey, this is interesting. What do you imagine people say when they gossip about you?
Oh my god, my worst nightmare.
I know, me too.
Oh wow. God, gossip is the interesting word, isn't it? Because that like implies that it should be bad. It's not just like
let's do
talk.
good and bad.
God, what do I imagine they say?
That's a hard one, isn't it?
It's like something I actively avoid thinking about.
Really? Great. I've just completely asked you to think about it.
No, that's a good thing. Do you have an answer while I think of mine?
Yeah, I'll say mine. I imagine people, and this is only because I know that I have tried to self-reflect so much that I'm just thinking about all my kind of faults. Mm-hmm. But I've had friends say to me that I'm pretty bad with like follow through, and that is definitely true. Not in a friendship way, but I'll start something with like the absolute love of it and got all these ideas, and then after like 2 weeks I'll just be like, oh yeah, no, I kind of forgot about it, like I'm bored of it now. And I think that can be I in some ways I can not be very consistent, and I also think I can, a people pleaser. I think that kind of annoys people a bit because I can be so wanting everyone to be happy that people are like, just get a fucking backbone, just say what you want to do. Especially when it comes to birthdays. For my birthday, because I genuinely want everyone to have a good time, my like best birthday is just to do what everyone else wants to do, because that will make me feel happy. But I think that can annoy people too, because they're like, for fuck's sake, Kate, it's your birthday, stop being such a dick about that.
I don't think that's not having a backbone. I feel like that's quite harsh.
I'm probably saying that myself. I don't think anyone's actually said that to me, but this is what I imagine. And then...
That's interesting that you say about the just say what you want thing. I think that is probably something could imagine someone saying about me. I don't think I'm like a great... Because again, it's like an offset of kind of being a people pleaser, but I don't think I'm great at communicating. But particularly when I'm not, like, I'm so bad at saying when I'm not okay to anyone.
Really?
Yeah, to anyone. Friends, family, whoever I'm with. Like, I am so quick to be like, it's fine, everything's fine, everything's fine. Like, even if it's, like, clearly not, I am so kind of dismissive of any kind of messy feelings.
Why?
I don't know why.
Probably
because I don't want to be a burden. Like, I think almost all of it stems back to the people pleasing thing. You know,
right.
I wouldn't want to be a burden on that person. So I think I'm doing it subconsciously, and then I'm trying to like wire myself to get better at it. But yeah, even in my like, I think back to times where I can clearly see that I wasn't in a good place, but what I was saying was like, oh, it's fine, everything's fine.
Right.
How are you? Yeah, fine. It takes someone that knows me really well to be like, no, you are clearly not.
Yeah.
Fine.
But as well, you are clearly a very good friend to your close friends. Like, and can you imagine them being like, oh, yeah, no, I'm absolutely fine, I don't want to be a burden. You'd be like, you fucking idiot, tell me.
Yeah, I would want to be that person. And I do think I'm a good friend. I think the flip side of what I, like, nice things I feel people that know me would say, or not really gossip, but I do think I'm, like, a loyal person. And I think I make an effort with people.
I'd wholeheartedly agree with that. You could have dropped me years ago.
But here we are. No, that's important to me though. Although like, I don't know, it's important to me to, keep in touch with people. Not just keep in touch, and it's not for them necessarily. I get so much from seeing people that I like. So it's not like a selfless thing. But that's the good side of it. But a bad side, and it's something I get frustrated at myself over, is just like, so bad at communicating.
Yeah, because you're kind of
so bad at, like, again, I hate, like, fights, difficult conversations, will do, like, anything I can to avoid them. Like,
yeah.
I look up to people who are just so
direct.
straight talking and direct. I'm just like, what is that like?
And again, like, was that like ever a thing growing up? Were you like trying to avoid conflict or make family situations okay? Like, was that ever a thing? Do you remember that being a thing?
I don't.
Or
I
in
mean,
school?
I never liked conflict in school. I went to an all-girls school.
Same. Fun.
What a weird social experiment that was. And I think girls, the way they fight with each other is so horrible.
Yeah.
And we like had a neighbouring boys' school, and at an age, not when you get too old, but when you're like 12, 13, 14, 15, there would just be loads of times where like they would all just like punch each other, all the boys in the boys' school. And I remember everyone being so horrified. And all I could think was like, God, that seems like a way healthier way of dealing with conflict than what we're all doing in this school, which is like bitchy, like game playing. Like these arguments are drawn out over weeks, and like people are used as like little pawns, and like people are ganging up on other people, and like I'm gonna sit beside her in maths, and then I'm gonna really fuck with her tomorrow. I'm gonna sit beside this person and just leave her guessing. It was just so manipulative and horrible. And I think, I don't know, I didn't really get involved in it, but I saw that. I mean, I was involved in it sometimes, but I just think girls are horrible.
Yeah.
I just don't.
Yeah, because
I wish I'd gone to a mixed school.
I think the way people deal with conflict and like fight, not even like fighting necessarily, but like getting to the heart of what's actually wrong and talking about it, can stem so much from the way they saw their parents argue, or even if they did or didn't. Because I was talking to Kina about it, and she said that they never really had those kind of things weren't discussed. It was always kind of done on the outside, so she never really knew how to have those conversations till much later on in life.
Right. I do think there's a little bit of that in our family. Like, I'm very close to my family and they're amazing, but I do think, and I think it's a very Irish thing as well, I do think we don't talk about big important things.
Okay.
I do think we have like a dialogue that sits like, for the most part, like very on the surface, and we don't dislike each other. There's no like big conflict in my family. I'm like very lucky my parents are still together, like everyone loves each other. But I do think there's like, it's just a lot of like surface level chat, and maybe that's because we all have a little bit of that kind of people pleasing. No one wants to cause any issues, no one wants to say anything controversial at the dinner table. It's all just sort of, there is a certain kind of like, how was your day ness to the whole thing. So maybe that's something I've just carried through a little bit.
And you think maybe that's an Irish thing?
I think so. Maybe it's a kind of British thing as well, but like I just think there's a lot of attitude at home, and a lot of families and friends that I know where their families will be like, oh, wouldn't want to be difficult, let's just keep up appearances for the parish, like everything's fine. I do think maybe not specifically Irish, but like I just knew a lot of families at home that were like that. They didn't have big issues they were hiding, but they just never spoke about like real stuff.
Yes.
For fear of an argument or a difficult conversation.
Yeah, totally. I think, to be fair, I think that's got to be as well a family generic thing, maybe. Mostly,
100%.
Probably not all, but
the people I know who have parents who are so open are just open people.
Yeah.
And I cannot tell you how much I envy that.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm trying to kind of bring into my family now, because me and Mum were very, very open people. But now she's gone, I'm like, okay, I'm clearly the one that can mediate all the time, and hence why I kind of got my dad on the podcast, because I was like,
did you?
Yeah.
Oh my god, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, it just came out yesterday, I think. It's kind of, any relationships that may have been a bit damaged over the last kind of like however many years, I'm like, now's the time, because when you lose someone, you really do start to see like we both just sneezed on this podcast now. Any sneeze fetish people out there, you've got what you want.
Yeah, there's your soundbite.
I don't think that exists. Yeah, when you lose someone, you really do kind of gain perspective, and you're like, there is no point in just having these surface level conversations with my family anymore, because A, I don't see you all that much often now, and B, I'm like, there's clearly unresolved stuff. There's clearly stuff that we could connect on, we could learn from each other on, like we're the closest people to each other. Why not have those potentially difficult and weird conversations? So I'm trying to facilitate that in my family, but I can have these conversations with friends. I can have this conversation with you so easily, but put me in a room with my brother, someone I've grown up with, and I'll be like, oh, this is fucking weird and awkward. But probably just because there's so much history, isn't there? It's exactly that. There's history, and there's, I don't know why, it just feels difficult with family.
Yeah, I agree. My sister's really good at it, and I think she's almost become the mediator in our family of just, I don't know, heavier conversations. She's really, really good at instigating that, and I would love to be more like that, because the families that I grew up so envious of were families where like the parents were just so open, and like when you were like getting your first boyfriends and girlfriends, like the kind of conversation, like the families where they could communicate all that to their parents so like freely, and there was just this dialogue about all those things that could be so difficult. Like that's the kind of family I would want to have. I would make like such a point of it being that open, and I would make such a point of telling them I love them every single day. I'm so jealous of families that do that.
Yeah. What, did you not feel like you got that?
I felt the love, but like I just think it's so nice when you hear someone, especially someone in their like 20s, 30s, who are like on the phone to their mum and just go, love you. I just think it's so nice. I don't know.
Yeah, man.
It's such a simple thing, but I think that's like so nice.
It's definitely, it's so important. And I think having had that so much from my mum, now that's gone, bless my dad, like salt of the earth, love him. But he's not the best with emotions. He doesn't, and he'd be the first person to say that too. But so it's, you don't really have those kind of conversations. Like, whereas mum was just so like, she couldn't wait to get you in the room so she could tell you how much she loved you type thing. And that's I think that's such a wonderful thing to have. And I think it's good as well to even if you're aware of those things within your family, to be like, okay, I'm going to make an effort next time I see them, or I'm going to tell each one of them that I love them, because fuck me, they deserve to know type thing.
I like that.
Easier said than done there, of course.
True that.
Okay, another question.
Okay, let's do a low number, like 7.
Okay, no one's picked 7 before.
Alright.
Oh, this is a good one. What has been your biggest challenge in your life so far, and how did you overcome it?
Wow. Biggest challenge. God, that's a good question, and it deserves a good answer. I think the biggest challenge, particularly, and it kind of ties in with like doing music as a job, is kind of about self-worth and about like convincing myself that I deserve to be happy. Is that what I mean? Yeah, it kind of is what I mean. I think, again, I keep saying it's an Irish thing, and I don't think it is, but like Irish humour, I think, and it's like a step even further than British humour, is very like based on just like taking each other down, and it's so funny. I remember like bringing friends from London over at home, and like my 2 friends from school would just be like talking to each other, and like, did you fucking left the house and that, you look like a fucking state, and like all my friends from London were like, are they having a fight? And I was like, no, they're just greeting each other. Like we are so dry and brutal and like cruel to each other, and it's so funny. But the flip side of that, and where it gets kind of nasty, I think, is when you want to do a job that's a bit unusual, like put yourself on stage, or be an artist or a songwriter, or start an app, or be a videographer, or something that's just a bit
out there,
unusual, something with notions, as we say at home. I think the attitude towards that is like the cruelty of taking each other down is still there, and I think the attitude I kind of saw in other people when I wanted to be a musician, particularly when you're right at the beginning, which is such a vulnerable spot. You just so like vulnerable. You want to do it, but you're not quite there, and you don't have the infrastructure or the team or the tools to do it, but you know you want to. And like I experienced a lot of like, oh, well, good for you. You want to be on stage? You must think you're fucking great. Like, not said that bluntly, but I think the attitude was like, she wants to be on stage, you know.
Wow.
Which is a huge part of why I wanted to come to somewhere like London, where, I mean, everyone and their mother wants to be a musician there. It's not like it's easy, but like at least it's not weird.
Yeah.
So I think because of my experience at home, I like went through the last couple of years of school being so embarrassed about music and so embarrassed about wanting that as a career.
Wow.
That I just didn't talk about it ever. And then I think I just had all this like weird, I don't know, like a weird Catholic guilt, or I don't know, something of like, oh, do I really deserve to have this like cool job that's really quite self-indulgent? I'm not really like helping anyone. I'm not being a doctor or a lawyer. It's like actually really me. I think it's taken me like so long to overcome the idea of like, actually, I've worked hard for this. Like,
That is so interesting.
But yeah.
Because not music related, but in my last relationship, and it was something that I absolutely loved about our relationship, because I think we're quite sarcastic, dry people.
Yeah.
And we love that humor makes me laugh. Like, it's so funny.
Yeah.
And me and Josh would tear each other down, but it was always so funny. Like, it was one of my favorite bits about the relationship. But I think when my self-esteem was gradually lowering, I was like, however much I love this, it's probably really not good for me anymore to
100%.
be hearing like, and it was always in love. Like, that was how we kind of communicated, and it was love. But or maybe it wasn't. but
no, but it was good natured.
Yeah, it was good natured, and towards the end, I was like, and so when my self-esteem was probably at its lowest, I would start hearing those things as real.
100%. This is exactly the feeling that I mean. I've just felt, not from one particular person, but I felt that at home as like a general vibe. Every time I introduce myself in a room of like, oh, I'm like, again, it's so specific to the point that I was at, because I feel like now you can own it after a point. But like, there was so many years where people would be like, what do you do? And I'd be like, oh, well, you know, I play music, I guess. You know, I wouldn't even be able to be like, I'm a musician. I wouldn't even be able to get that sentence out, because I was just so like embarrassed.
Wow.
It was so silly.
It is weird. It is.
Like, it makes no sense, but it was just like, I felt at home this kind of little bit of, every time I did say that, a little bit of hostility and a little bit of like, oh, yeah. Especially moving to London, which is a massive cliche. Like, especially at home, if you want to, like, if you're a musician, you move to London, it's like,
right, okay,
so textbook.
Do you still, when you like go back home now, do you still feel that? I mean, I guess you're doing so well.
Well, this is it. I think there's, and that it's a little bit fickle and it's no one's fault, but I do think, because I would like to like move back to Ireland eventually. I would definitely like move there. I'd love it, but there's definitely a shift in attitude when you've done a certain amount elsewhere and then you come back and there's this kind of hometown hero vibe. Not that I've reached that point, but like, I've seen it with other bands from home. I think this is like not specific to Ireland, it's anywhere, but like, once you've proved yourself elsewhere, you come home and it's like, wow, it's like, yeah, that guy from that band is my cousin, and it's like, you never would have said that a couple of years ago. But it's like, there's this ownership, and it's like, come on home, and like, let me get you a drink, like, I saw that you toured in America, like, that's so cool. But I just think until you get to that point at home, I just experienced so much like wariness. It was like,
how weird.
I don't know. And I think, again, a bit like you said about your dynamic with you and Josh, is like, it's all funny until it's not.
Exactly.
And I think that was it. When I had my weaker moments in it, when I came over to London and had to get a job and it just wasn't going well and I was managerless and not doing anything, those were like the points where I like heard all of the like funny, like, oh fucking, oh, she wants to be on stage, like, good for her. I like heard those voices, but in like a way more like hostile way.
Yeah.
And at a point where I just couldn't take it very well.
Yeah. And weirdly as well, it's kind of has to be you at that point to take responsibility for it, because they don't know when it's suddenly gone too far. If that's the way they've always communicated. And also,
I can like give it as much as I can take it.
Same.
I'm not saying like, oh my god, I'm such a like sensitive soul and you can never like joke around
me.
Like, I love that. Like, I'm so dry and I love that sense of humor. And I love people taking each other down. It's just when I get into like a bad point where I'm like, oh no, I can't take it. Like,
and that's where it comes really interesting though, because obviously that person doesn't know, but it's only when you start hearing those things badly that you're like, oh crap, this is actually affecting me, that it's a wake-up call for you, like, hang on a minute, this never used to affect me, so clearly something is happening with me now, like, this is my thing, because nothing has changed externally. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like the idea of like, I always come back to the idea of like owning it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, what was the question again? Because I want to answer it better.
What was the biggest challenge that you've faced and how did you overcome it?
Yeah, like the biggest challenge is has been learning to own it, like learning to own the fact that I want to be a musician, and that if I work hard enough for it, that I like deserve that. Just that has been such a massive fucking thing.
Fuck yes.
It shouldn't be.
But like, it's so cool to hear you say that though, and to be honest about that, because I
think
wouldn't
it's something like, you've interviewed a lot of American people. Mm-hmm. I think it's something, a huge generalization. I don't know why I keep bringing all these country things, but like, I think Americans generally do that so much better.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially in something like music. Do you listen to that And the Writer Is podcast?
No.
It's like this podcast where this guy just interviews loads of big songwriters, like pop writers. And it's not that they're not humble. They're all really successful by virtue of being on the podcast, but they're able to like talk about their journeys, and they're able to just be like, I'm out here every day, I'm hustling, I work harder than anyone in this town, I deserve this. And it's like, God, to have like an ounce of that would be amazing. Whereas I think the attitude over here is like, again, this embarrassment, this like, oh, I guess I'm a musician, I just sort of fell into it all just kind of happened to me. And like, sometimes that's true, but it's like, I really struggle to admit that I work hard for it, and that I like stay up late doing all this shit, and that I like, it's like, why is that so hard to admit?
That's so true. And I think as well that comes down to just a general fear of really giving too much of a shit about what people think. Mm-hmm. Like, you want people to think that you're really grateful. You want people to think that you're really humble and, oh yeah, no, I guess I'm good.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
No one wants to sit there and be like, do you know what? I actually really am fucking good at this. Even though that's how we should be. It's amazing.
100%. When I meet someone that's like that, I'm just like, God, that's amazing.
Yeah. It's so cool. It's so refreshing.
Yeah. I'm just not hardwired like that, but I'd like to be. You know,
that's all we can do though, is recognize where we'd like to be and be like, cool, let's take steps to do that. Like, even with this podcast, it's kind of awkward and embarrassing because you're starting something new and it's something completely different to music, and you're asking people that are doing better than you, you know what I mean, to kind of come on it, and it's a bit awkward, and what if they think, oh, it's this cute little new thing she's trying. But you like you said, you really have to own it, and like, I think I'm good at this, and I enjoy it, and like, it's fun, and like, why the hell should I not just fucking go for it? It's cool though. Like, what an amazing point to end on it. Couple of Instagram follower questions.
Sick.
Okay, so that's just me talking. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so Iris loves cats. We all do, Iris. Says, how do you relax while/after touring for so long? Must be exhausting with the constant adrenaline rush.
Yeah, I think that's the weirdest thing about touring at any level, because I feel like I've experienced it at a couple different levels the last few months. Like, Dodie's tours are bigger. There's like a big team. We're on a sleeper bus. It's like, my own tours are like way more what you spoke about. All hands on deck, loading up upstairs, like no rest. It keeps you like very humble, because you could play a show to however many people and have a great time, and then you're like, I have to go and pack my guitars because no one else is going to do it. So I feel like I've experienced that at like different levels of kind of comfort and in different capacities. But it is the weirdest thing when I explain to people about touring, is like, it's the fact that you have to be your most on at like 9 p.m. It's like, in what other world do you have to be like stalling and conserving your energy kind of all day, and then you have to like be really on at a really unnatural time, and then naturally like you can be so disciplined and good, but you're just never going to get to sleep after
That's
that.
so true.
It's not even if you don't like drink or go out or anything. It's like, even if you didn't enjoy the gig, it's not even about like, oh my God, this is the most amazing feeling and it's coursing through my veins. It's just like, you're just having to be so alert at like 10.
Yeah, I'd never thought of it like that.
I think that's why you just don't get that much sleep. But what I do after the tours, I don't know, there's always like a post-tour like slump for me. And again, it doesn't even matter like how much you enjoyed it. It's not really about it being the best thing ever and then the worst thing ever. It's just like such a specific experience.
It is. It's so up and down, and unless you do it, it's very hard to understand.
Yeah, I think it's just a sense of purpose falling away. That's the only.
Yes.
That's the only thing that I can like. I feel almost all musicians really like. Again, even if touring isn't for you, it's like the straightforwardness of like, there's a show tonight.
You know what you're doing.
The show has to happen, whether I'm like in a good mood or a bad mood. the sound check will be at 4 and the show will be at 8. Or, it's just like, it's all, I don't know, I think there's just so much, like, structure, and there's so much, like, comfort in that.
And then when the structure's gone, you're a bit like,
you just feel a bit, like, flailing around. You're just kind of like...
I think every musician on the planet could describe themselves as flailing at some point. That's like the perfect word for it, because you just feel like you're floating around.
Like, you can write, like, you get up and you're like, oh, I feel like I should write, or I feel like I should do this, but I could do it tomorrow.
Exactly.
That's the thing, when you can't do it touring.
Yeah.
It just has to happen.
And that's kind of the cool bit about touring, is that the structure that I kind of crave and envy people in normal jobs. You get that for a little while.
Just a little bit.
Touring.
And then as soon as you get comfortable with it, it's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so... I don't know. I've generally run away from that feeling. That's why I went to New York in between the daily tour and this tour.
Okay. Okay, this is a good one. Princess Meg? It's me. What's been the most awkward gig you've played?
Oh my god, wow. God, that is good. The most awkward gig I've played...
Oh man, I've got plenty.
Please tell me one of yours. Well, I think
one of mine. I'd say awkward. It was more just probably a couple. There was one that we did, the Isle of Wight festival, and I shit you not.
I thought you were gonna say I shit myself.
That would be an awkward gig. Oh my god, I wish that was my story, but it's not. The stage was about the size of this table. And there were 3 of us in the band at this point. It was one of those mics that wasn't like a boom, so you, like
straight up.
Yeah,
just bashing it with the guitar.
Exactly,
yeah.
There's that. The sound desk was like this big and was on the stage next to us. The sound was just unimaginably awful. Couldn't hear myself. Like it was just so bad. And then I see someone I used to go to school with walk in the room. And I'm like, for fuck's sake. And it's like what we were saying, like, you just started this new thing, like, it's really cool, or you really think it's cool anyway. And then one of your old school friends comes in and is like, this is literally awful. It's the worst gig I've ever played. But then there was also one, I think it was another festival in Devon, Beach Break or something.
Oh god.
And we were in a pub.
Sounds awful.
It's already awful. We're in a pub. The worst thing. You can assume basically that the sound is always terrible when I'm talking about these gigs, because it's just awful. And I was playing Family Tree, which is obviously so personal and in depth and real. And there's just fucking hordes of like men, like lads, men. And I get to be honest, it was probably more funny towards the end because I was just laughing, like, this is so hilariously awful. But they were like, lads, and I'm there like, my mum, like, it was just so
god.
And like it is funny, but only once you've left the situation. But at the time you're like,
you definitely want to die in that moment.
I've
just remembered. I'm glad that you mentioned a festival, because I would have forgot about festivals if you hadn't said that. I played this festival called Goat Fest.
It's already wonderful.
I think I go through like different stages with gigs, and I was in a stage where I was like, I am in a position to say no to nothing. Every gig we gotta do. This was last year. I was getting back into gigging, and I was just like, who am I to turn down anything? Like, let's just play it all. I want to get good at gigging. And we played this thing called Goat Fest. It was truly the worst fucking thing I can imagine. I mean, the name should have been a giveaway. I don't even know why it was called Go Fest. We actually made a joke backdrop. They were like set in advance. There was like a projector behind the screen, so you can like just send us like your logo. And I like jokingly made a version of my logo, like little goats, like all over it. Sent it them as a joke. They put it up. So I walked on stage and this like my name is there with all these like flying goats, and I was like, this can't be real. Also, the crucial point was that it was lashing rain onto the stage. It was an angled wind that was like blowing everything into our face. We've got all these like laptop on stage running track, SPD, I've got pedals. So Pete, who plays with me, was like, we can't play this gig, our gear is going to get destroyed. I bet this gear, like, I can imagine this, you know, this festival is so fucking bootleg, it's not going to have a like an insurance policy. Like, this is just a local festival run by volunteers. Like, they're not going to know what to do if all our gear gets destroyed. So we're like talking to this guy who runs the stage, who's like day drunk and wearing like a pirate hat, and he's like, you guys ready to go on? And Pete's like, I don't, like, we're like, we'll do everything we can, but like we're really worried about our gear. So we had to like bag up all of our pedals in this like plastic sheets.
Oh my God.
Like massive plastic bags were like over our pedal boards, and then the laptop was like hidden in behind the drum riser, and it was like pelting rain onto my face. Like my hair was like stuck, and I was like a drowned rat. And we're there trying to like run in ears, trying to like do the full fucking works. And there's probably like 5 people there. Like no one that had bought tickets for the festival had shown up because it was lashing rain.
Oh my Lord.
And I think we played like 2 songs, and then eventually I had to just be like,
I'm out of it.
We gotta leave. Like I'm just worried about all the gear, and also like this sucks.
Oh God. And I'm assuming the sound was awful. You couldn't hear yourself, etc.
Oh yeah. I mean, actually, that wasn't even the worst bit, because we'd like gone all out and brought our like lovely front of house guy, and like done the inners. We'd gone over the top.
Right.
It was so degrading, but it was also hilarious. And I've been playing with Pete a lot, but my drummer Sarah was like, that was God maybe her second or third gig with us, and I just remember like turning around to her, and she was like, oh, got like rain on the face, rain on the gear, and she was like, this is mental. But she was in such good spirits that it was like a real camaraderie thing for all of us. Like I immediately knew in that moment, I was like, she is wonderful.
Wow.
Because no one
else would have put up with that.
No one in the band was like, we're not going on. They were just like, we'll do whatever you want to do. Let's just try a few songs, see how it goes. And I was like, oh my God, you guys are amazing.
Yeah, that's
like,
fucking cool.
They could have just...
Ride or die.
They would have been well within their right to be like, fuck this. I'm not bringing my like thousands of pounds of gear onto this. Like, like I can't... Like, the laptop was sitting in a pool of water. The pedal board... Like, it was lashing rain. It was so laughable that they even put anyone on the stage. God.
Did they introduce you as Orla Gartland, or...?
No, but I should have put that on the logo. I still can't believe they put that logo at the back. I need to show you a picture of it. Like I sent it the one with the goats and just the one with my name, being like, haha, Goat Fest, like, you know, here's a jokey one that I made, and we walked on stage, and that was the one that I put on the projector. It was really grim.
Well,
a real moment.
Thank you so much for coming on and for answering my stupid questions.
Thank you for having me.
And I just love you so much. And go and listen to Orla on Spotify. Get her EP out on May the 24th.
Get it out.
Get it out. Just get the EP out and just stare at it for a bit. Thank you, Orla.
Thank you.
Round of applause for us. My God, I love that woman. Orla, thank you so much for coming on here and chatting to me, and for baring your soul for all. It means a lot. And guys, if you like the podcast and you like the episode, feel free to let me know by leaving a rating or a review, or just DM me on Instagram at We Dive Deeper. We're doing some new things over there each week. We've got #DiveDeep, where I ask you guys some of these questions and I get to know you. And I just really want to encourage more people to have these kind of conversations and to reflect on why they think things and why they feel things, because it's so important to get to know yourself better, and in doing so you can make the world a better place because you become less reactive and more proactive. Let me know what you're learning about yourself at the moment. I'd love to know. Hit me up on all social media. Did I just say hit me up? Apparently I did. I cannot be cool anymore. I think I've passed the point of being cool and I'm officially an old woman. I'm going to leave it there, and I hope you guys have an awesome couple of weeks, and I'll see you soon. Bye.